IBS is a debilitating illness to live with. What mistakes are you making to make it even worse? We'll find out from this month's guest, registered dietitian Fran Sutherlin. Fran, welcome to this month's interview. Let's dive right into it. What top 3 mistakes have you seen with your patients?
The top 3 that I see is definitely drinking coffee or even caffeine, depending how sensitive your body is to caffeine. Coffee, what it does is it stimulates your adrenal glands to produce more cortisol. It stimulates your stomach to produce more acid. And all of these things in IBS are really working against having the body calm so it can easily digest and absorb food. So coffee is a big one. I classify it as coffee, but it might be even black tea is not great for a particular person. So just any sort of caffeine is really, really something that people should pull out if they want their symptoms to diminish.
What about chocolate? Doesn't it have a stimulant in it too?
Chocolate does, but chocolate, black tea, urbanate, those types of caffeine sources don't stimulate the adrenal glands the way coffee does. It's just easier on that fight or flight cortisol production system. And when you have IBS, you want that system to really be calm. So that way
So
you can.
if you do have a coffee crave, instead of having a coffee break, maybe take a dark chocolate break or black tea break.
Yes.
Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, it's a little easier on your body. And initially, when your body's inflamed, you might not even tolerate the dark chocolate or black tea. But when your body is not inflamed, there's no episodes of IBS, it's calm, then you can tolerate little bits of caffeine that way. It's very individualized, but coffee is should be out. Absolutely no.
Got it. So the first one is coffee. What's the second one?
So the second, with IBS and any of these digestive health disorders, it's the fiber. We all hear eat fiber, it's good. We think if we sit down to a raw kale salad, loads of vegetables, that it's going to be really great and healthy for us. If you're suffering from IBS, that's probably the worst thing that you can sit down to if your body's inflamed, because it's really hard for your body to break down the raw vegetables and the load of fiber. So most of the IBS clients I work with, it just runs right through them. You eat a salad and then you have diarrhea, and you're wondering, this is supposed to be very healthy for me. Why is it causing so much diarrhea? And that's why you're just not digesting and absorbing it. So fiber, knowing if you're inflamed, you need cooked vegetables, maybe not eating raw vegetables when your body's inflamed and suffering. I call them episodes from an IBS episode. And that's when everything's coming out of you, or you have very terrible heartburn, you're just in a lot of pain and discomfort. When you're not inflamed and your body is calm, again, that state we're looking for, calm, lower anxiety, then you can play around with raw vegetables and things like that. So fiber is a biggie. You have to know when to increase fiber, when to decrease fiber based on what state your body's in.
So what I'm hearing is, even though we all hear fiber is good for you, but it's really not one size fit all people. And not only it's not one size fit all people, even for one person, it's not one size fits all situations. So for example, maybe I'm okay today with eating fiber, or tomorrow I have an episode, then I cannot eat fiber. So it's really advised for us to seek out the advice of a practitioner to sort all those things through. Is that right?
Absolutely. And you'll learn like the things you do with your clients, and you're teaching them how to calm the parasympathetic, that you're teaching them how to calm their bodies, and that's really, really good. And that's what IBS really is related to, anxiety. So when the body's calm, you're feeling good, then you can work with the fiber. When it's really inflamed, diarrhea, cramping, you feel terrible, pull all food out and you can even do this for a day or two and just drink bone broth. So bone broth, it's very, very nutrient dense for the intestines. It's a good little to have in your toolbox. Like if you're feeling inflamed, you don't know what to eat, sip on bone broth because that calms the digestive system.
So that's a great tip. If you don't know what to do, just stay away from everything, pull everything out of your diet, just take the bone broth to build up your digestive system. And on the side, you can also do some work to calm your stress and anxiety. And I have some videos. I'm going to put it into the description below too.
Yes. And then when you think, okay, I'm ready for food now, it's cooked food. It's those cooked vegetables instead of a raw salad, things like that, easy to digest, really nurturing the body and bringing it back.
This is really interesting. It reminded me of one of the clients that I worked with, even though I wasn't working on nutrition with her because I'm not a dietitian. I was surprised to find out that she couldn't take something like kale or broccoli. And I had to really work with her to build up her system so she can get her life back on track.
Yes.
And another thing that's really interesting, what you talked about, when you have the episode, don't take raw vegetables, go to the cooked vegetables. That's exactly what the Chinese medicine says.
Yep. It's exactly right on. That's exactly what you want them to do. I love Chinese medicine and just how they all come together between what I was trained as in Western medicine. Functional nutrition is a come between, but yeah, that's exactly right. You cannot digest and absorb the healthiest food if your digestive system is inflamed. So you're not digesting and absorbing those nutrients when you're doing foods like that with IBS. And your body continues to fight. So you've got to back off all of it, do exactly what you're talking about with that client. It's easy and gentle.
So another thing I'm picking up from you is that not only your body is not able to digest the food, it's also causing the body to fight even more. So it's making it even worse. Is that right?
Absolutely, it makes it worse. And you might notice that's where kind of food intolerance comes from. I used to be able to eat gluten, IBS, now you can't. I used to be able to eat dairy with IBS, maybe now you can't. And the more you're not addressing the issue, the more foods your body's going to start reacting to and not liking. And it's it's an immune response. So, really taking care of the problem will help open up a broader range of foods that you can tolerate, feel good with, get nourished, and it's not fighting against your immune system.
Let me go to the question I received from this viewer. She was saying she actually tries to eat really healthy and her body is still gives her body that ache. So from what you are saying is her body is in an inflamed state, so it doesn't even matter what she tries. She needs to get out of that state first.
Right. I get clients who are eating, the lady I'm thinking of, organic, grew her own vegetables. She was still getting sick with food. She had a digestive disorder, but it makes a difference because it's how clean is the food, works really, really well. But what is the food? It doesn't matter if it's organic, clean, wonderful kale that is so amazing for us. Your body could still not be digesting it well. So when you put it in the stomach, your immune system is like, yeah, no, no, thank you. And that's a kind of the response of diarrhea when the immune system is like, we don't know what this is. This isn't food. I don't know how to digest and absorb this. And it just spits it all the way out fast. Get it out fast. We don't know what this is.
This is an awesome conversation, especially with regarding to the immune system. I would like to come back to this particular topic at a different time. So now let's move on. What's the third mistake that people make?
The third with IBS specific is sugar. So we know stay away from sugar, but then there's a lot of sugar alternatives coming online and things, but like erythritol, it's a sugar that they're putting in monk fruit. Monk fruit is big. It's great right now because of keto. IBS should not be doing these sugar alcohols. So anytime you're suffering with IBS, stay away from sugar alcohols. There's sugar in fruit, there's sugar in lactose, there's sugar, the table sugar, of course. Your body might digest the sugar in dairy, which is lactose, And it might digest it in fruit, it may not with IBS. You really need to figure out what is your sugar trigger. What sugars can you tolerate? The thing with sugar, though, is if you're not tolerating a lot of these sweet things, that means you need to back things off, because at the stomach level, there's bacteria in our system that shouldn't be there sometimes. And with IBS, it can really inflame us to have bacteria in our digestive system that should not be there. So of course, there's a very popular FODMAP diet, and that diet pulls out all of these sugars. Well, if you find that diet helped you, that's a clue that there's probably some bacteria in there that you need to work with and dial down, get it out, that sort of thing.
Are you saying that sugar in different things have a different impact? For example, sugar in fruits versus sugar in carbohydrates?
Yes. So fruit sugars is its own category, but dairy sugars is another category. So there's different types of sugar. People with IBS right now in the world, the way sugar is sold to us, you have to really watch out for the sugar alcohols. And they're going to be hidden in those healthier monk fruits and stevias and things like that.
So stop drinking coffee, drink tea instead. If food gives you a problem, take it out of your diet. If nothing works, take everything out. Just drink bone broth and add them back one at a time. And then the third one is just avoid all sugar at this point.
If your body's inflamed, yes. But with IBS, it's gluten, it's dairy, sometimes fruit, it's vegetables. When you're in that inflamed state, it's really, really hard for your body to work with you with food. So you've got to back off everything and figure out what can your body tolerate, what can it not.
So how do you work with your patients?
Yeah, if someone came to me with IBS and they kind of know, maybe they don't have any clue what foods are making them feel bad. Maybe they know some foods are making them feel bad. I run an elimination on them. So it's an elimination diet. The trick with running an elimination diet for IBS is that you pull out all of the inflammatory foods, gluten, dairy, corn, soy, like you're eating very clean, easy to digest foods. And then you start testing the body, challenge the body, and understand, because Dan, your body's going to tolerate foods differently than mine. So it's a very personalized, very specific approach for these clients running with IBS. It's hard to give them just a diet, go run with this, it's going to make you feel better, because it's so different with every person. So running an elimination diet, that's probably the number one thing that I feel IBS clients need to know, because it's setting you up for sustainable relief and you're not just playing this guessing game.
Fran, thank you so much for this great conversation on the top 3 mistakes that people with IBS make that symptoms even worse. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. If someone wants to work with you directly, where do they find you?
So I'm a registered dietitian, like you said. I've had a lot of extensive training in functional nutrition. So that's really looking at the body as a whole. That's the only difference between how I was trained as a dietitian in Western medicine, as opposed to bringing online all of the healing components of food and really healing the digestive system. When you give the body the right nutrients, it really works to do that. I've been a dietitian for almost 16 plus years. I have 4 kids. We really strive to eat clean, be healthy. That's what we want to leave our kids with. To find more about me, you can go to fransutherlin.com if you're interested in running through elimination diets and things like that. And I love what I do, because having people not knowing what to eat, the food is making them sick, they're extremely frustrated, they don't feel good. And in a very short time, 4 to 6 weeks, we can have them feeling like they've never felt before. Why? Because we're letting food nourish the body. So it's amazing. I love the results that I get, and it's very thrilling for me to guide people through these types of diets.
That's awesome. I'm going to drop your URL, your website information into the description of this video so people can find you. Thank you again for being with us today to learn about the top 3 mistakes you could be making that makes your IBS worse and how to avoid it from the expert registered dietitian, Fran Sutherlin.
Thank you for having me, Dan. This was fun.
Thank you, friend. If you like this video, hit like, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification so you never miss an update from me. If you have any questions or any particular issue you'd like me to address, leave it in the comment section below. See you next time. To your health.